In a time marked by tumults and glories, a singular encounter between two remarkable figures echoed through eternity, leaving a legacy immortalized in the annals of history. We are in the era of Alexander the Great, a conqueror whose name resounds like thunder through the centuries, challenging kingdoms and borders with unparalleled determination. Beside him, Diogenes the Cynic, a wandering philosopher whose wisdom transcended worldly limitations, defied societal norms with his defiant indifference. Alexander, an ambitious young monarch, had vast conquered territories under his feet, yet his thirst for knowledge and understanding of the world knew no bounds. On the other hand, Diogenes, a man stripped of material possessions and luxuries, found his wealth in simplicity and in the pursuit of the true essence of existence. While Alexander was revered as a god among men, Diogenes chose to live as a beggar, scorning the traditions and social conventions that dominated his time. It was in this context of contrast and conflict that destiny intertwined the paths of these two extraordinary individuals. The encounter between Alexander and Diogenes was a moment that captured the essence of humanity in all its complexity and diversity. Amidst the bustling streets of Corinth, one of the most prosperous cities of ancient Greece, these two worlds collided in a manner that defied expectations and left an indelible mark on history. The scene of this encounter is as vivid as it is inspiring. Imagine, if you will, the great Alexander, surrounded by his retinue of nobles and soldiers, advancing through the streets teeming with spectators who bowed before his majesty. And there, amidst this spectacle of power and glory, is Diogenes, seated in his modest barrel, observing the procession with serene and disinterested eyes. He does not rise to greet Alexander, nor does he show any sign of reverence to the great conqueror. Diogenes' attitude towards Alexander is a lesson in courage and detachment. While all around him bow in admiration, Diogenes remains unshaken in his indifference. His posture challenges conventional notions of respect and reverence, reminding us of the fragility of worldly honors in the face of the greatness of the human soul. In this encounter, we see not only the difference between two men but also the divergence between two worldviews. Alexander represents the power of the external world, dominion over nations and territories. Diogenes, on the other hand, personifies inner strength, the freedom of spirit that does not bend to the demands of society. Thus, in this unique and transcendent moment, we are confronted with a choice: to follow in the footsteps of Alexander, in pursuit of external glory and power, or to embrace the wisdom of Diogenes, finding wealth and fulfillment within ourselves. It is a choice that echoes through the centuries, challenging us to question our own priorities and values in the search for true happiness and meaning in life. As we explore Diogenes' philosophy of indifference, we delve into an ocean of wisdom and challenge to social norms. Diogenes not only adopted indifference as a stance but elevated it to a principle of life, breaking with the expectations of his time and challenging us to rethink our own notions of success and happiness. Diogenes' attitude towards indifference was revolutionary in its simplicity and depth. While the society in which he lived valued material wealth and social status, Diogenes chose to strip himself of all worldly ties, finding freedom in renunciation. His indifference was not a sign of apathy, but rather a powerful affirmation of his autonomy and self-sufficiency. Diogenes lived by his own principles, challenging social conventions and society's expectations. While many sought to accumulate wealth and power, he preferred to live in a barrel and subsist on the scraps from the feasts of the rich. His unpretentious and detached life was a constant provocation to those who saw success in material terms. The impact of Diogenes' indifferent attitude on Alexander's perception was profound and lasting. While Alexander was revered as a powerful conqueror, Diogenes challenged his notions of greatness by refusing to bow before him. Instead of being impressed by Alexander's power and glory, Diogenes saw him as just another man subject to the same weaknesses and illusions as all of us. This divergence in Alexander and Diogenes' perception reflects their philosophical values. While Alexander sought external conquest and worldly glory, Diogenes sought true wisdom and inner fulfillment. For Alexander, value lay in the pursuit of external power and excellence. For Diogenes, true value lay in virtue and personal authenticity. Thus, as we explore Diogenes' philosophy of indifference, we are challenged to question our own priorities and values. Are we seeking true happiness and fulfillment, or are we getting lost in the pursuit of external success and recognition? Diogenes reminds us that true greatness lies in accepting who we are and in the pursuit of true inner wisdom. As we conclude this journey through the powerful tool of indifference, we are reminded of the transformative impact that this stance can have on our lives and society as a whole. The story of Diogenes and Alexander offers us a fascinating example of how indifference can be not just an attitude but a true philosophy of life, capable of freeing us from the bonds of the external world and connecting us with our inner essence. As we recap the history of Diogenes and Alexander, we are reminded of how Diogenes' indifference challenged social norms and expectations of the time, illustrating the power of autonomy and personal authenticity. While many sought external recognition and material success, Diogenes found wealth in simplicity and renunciation, demonstrating that true greatness lies in integrity and authenticity. Moreover, it is important to highlight the practical benefits of indifference in various areas of life. Indifference allows us to cultivate greater self-confidence, as we no longer depend on external approval or recognition to feel valid and fulfilled. It also aids us in decision-making, allowing us to discern between what is truly important and what is just external noise. And finally, it strengthens our emotional resilience, empowering us to face life's challenges with serenity and inner balance. Therefore, we conclude that indifference, when applied consciously and selectively, can be a powerful tool for achieving a more balanced and authentic life. By letting go of others' opinions and external pressures, we can connect with our deepest personal values and live according to our true essence. Thus, we are able to find lasting inner peace and become true masters of our destinies. Ultimately, indifference is not a denial of the world, but rather an affirmation of our own freedom and authenticity. It is a conscious choice to live according to our own principles and values, regardless of society's expectations and demands. Therefore, let us all learn from the example of Diogenes and Alexander and embrace indifference as a powerful tool for achieving a more meaningful and fulfilling life.